Today, crypto investors react to the Fed's last meeting in 2025. The CFTC pilots crypto as collateral for derivatives markets. And Marco Santori of Solmate discusses the company's merger with Web3 VC firm RockawayX. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Segales. Digital currencies are mixed today after rising sharply in the previous day's trading. By 2:15 Eastern, investors were looking to make sense of the Federal Reserve's final meeting in 2025. The central bank chose to cut the Fed funds rate amid concerns around the economy and the strength of the U.S. labor force. Also taking a look at newly public Bitcoin treasury firm 21 Capital, shares gained about 5% midday. That's after the stock fell as much as 25% in its first day of trading on the New York Stock Exchange yesterday. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. The CFTC announced a pilot program to allow certain crypto tokens to be used as collateral in derivatives markets. Supported tokens include Bitcoin, Ether, and stablecoin USDC. The agency's acting chair, Caroline Pham, joined CNBC's Squawk Box this morning discussing details of this launch, including in-kind collateral and new safeguards that they've put in place.
If you're going to settle in Bitcoin, it's denominated in Bitcoin, you can collateralize it with Bitcoin because it's the same way risk. And we have enhanced CFTC monitoring and reporting in place. So for 3 months, we are requiring that we not only get weekly position and asset class reporting, that's on top of the normal reporting that our exchanges do, but we are also asking for a reporting of any significant operational issues relating to that digital asset collateral.
Also this week, the CFTC issued guidance on using tokenized assets as collateral, highlighting that CFTC regulations are what it calls technology neutral, and that tokenized assets are to be analyzed on an individual basis to determine if they meet the CFTC's existing regulatory framework. Next, strategies weighed in on Morgan Stanley Capital International's proposal to exclude digital asset treasuries from its global investable market indexes. Michael Saylor's Bitcoin investing giant just put out a letter, signed by Saylor himself, along with President and CEO Phong Le, saying that it disagrees with the proposed change. The letter is addressed to members of the MSCI Equity Index Committee, and it argues that DATs are operating companies and not investment funds. It also says the firm's proposal for a 50% digital asset threshold is discriminatory if other industries like oil, gold, and real estate are unaffected. All right, for our main story, let's talk about Solmate. The Abu Dhabi-based Solana treasury firm recently announced a deal to acquire RockawayX, a Web3-focused VC fund. I spoke with Marco Santori, CEO of Solmate, about the deal and about Abu Dhabi as a new crypto hub. So Solmate just acquired RockawayX, a venture capital firm that's been backing Web3 companies for years. It comes as you're working to build Solmate beyond being a digital asset treasury. Talk about this deal and what it unlocks for your business.
We're absolutely thrilled to have a deal like this on the table. RockawayX has been an anchor investor since day one. And I got to tell you, the venture business is probably the least interesting part of the business for us. What we want to do is combine the treasury that Solmate has and that's growing with all of the infrastructure that RockawayX is building. And that infrastructure includes just validation, which is confirming transactions on blockchains, with transaction landing services, which means we can actually order transactions. We can dictate the order that transactions appear on high performance networks to the point where we can sell services that look a lot like high frequency trading.
Now, you're making this pivot at a time when the digital asset treasury market is only getting more saturated. You've got multiple Solana digital asset treasuries. Do you think that we are reaching the point of oversaturation, and is demand for these vehicles actually matching the growing list of DATs?
Yeah, it's a fantastic observation. I think DATs rely on this MNAV game, this multiple to net asset value. It's a game that I think some DATs will win. To be clear, I think there will be as many treasury companies as there are diversified strategies to acquire the underlying coin. That said, it's just not a game we wanted to play. And this merger with RockawayX means that we will be focusing on earnings. We will focus on revenue and SOL per share. Frankly, I don't know that we will ever focus on net asset value or a multiple to net asset value. We think there are far bigger prizes out there, and they all come from actually operating a business.
Let's talk about Abu Dhabi. Solmate is based there, and we saw Binance just this week announce that it's been given a license in the region as well. Break down for me why you picked that as your home base and how it's developing into more of a crypto hub.
Two reasons. One is the reason that most people probably associate with Abu Dhabi, which is proximity to capital. Right? We do like the proximity to capital. We want to be here. We want to be at the hoop when there's investments to be made. Right? We want that access. But that's only the first reason. And the second reason is actually far more structural. We view Abu Dhabi as kind of the center of the universe for transaction validation. If you were to zoom out and look at a map, you'd see validators in New York, Frankfurt, Japan. You'd see them sort of on the periphery of the globe. And in the middle is this sort of unserviced, underserved space that is the UAE. And when milliseconds matter, when latency is important, the distance between you and your transactions, between your transactions and the validation of those transactions, that matters, particularly when you're selling services to high frequency traders. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. So we view Abu Dhabi as the hub of a much larger wheel and a series of spokes that we can build in. And what we'd love to do is get to 20% of the Solana network staked here in Abu Dhabi. Some of it by us, but also by other people. We could literally rebuild Wall Street here if we have enough stake. And we're well on our way to doing that.
That's so fascinating. I haven't really thought about the high frequency trading proximity question since reading Michael Lewis's book a few years ago when he got into the earliest days of the New York exchanges and when that first became an arbitrage play. Can you speak more to that in the context of crypto? And is it really the UAE that has become the hub to be competitive in high frequency trading where digital asset trades are concerned?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was asked today. It's Abu Dhabi Finance Week, and that's why I'm here. And I was asked today on stage, can Abu Dhabi beat Wall Street? And my answer was no. I actually don't think so. I think Wall Street is entrenched with rent-seeking intermediaries, with folks who are parasitic on the financial system. But what we could do here is rebuild it from scratch. And that's the opportunity. That's the prize that we want to win. And this merger with RockawayX is the key to that, in my view. If we can build high performance validation here, and we can get enough of the underlying coin, in the case of Solana, that's Sol, if we can accumulate enough of that here in Abu Dhabi, then we will be chosen by the network, and this is how high performance networks work. We will be chosen by the networks to validate transactions. And on these high performance networks, what comes along with that is the right to order transactions on the blockchain. So I'll give you an example. It might sound a little bit like science fiction, but one example is that as a high frequency trader, you can purchase one fraction of a share of, say, Starbucks stock after every time you see one cup of coffee from Starbucks being purchased with a stable coin. Think about the power of that. That's like the evolution from writing letters to writing emails, right? Yes, it's a faster letter, but it also changes the way that you think about investing, right? It can be exceptionally granular, and we can do that using Solana, using high-performance blockchains.
Now, you were formerly at Kraken, where you were acutely aware of the regulation by enforcement action happening here in the U.S. You've also seen this shift under the Trump administration and Congress. Would you be comfortable growing your business into the U.S. or operating crypto services in general stateside?
We have suffered slings and arrows in the United States as an industry. I was there at the forefront for many years. I will say that the UAE is where we're focused now. We don't have plans to expand to the U.S. despite my accent. We don't have plans to expand to the U.S. And we found a real home in the UAE. It is a crypto forward sort of place. The government here at the federal level has already made a very clear statement in support of crypto and blockchain technology more broadly. And one of the characteristics of blockchains is that they are permissionless, right? You can access and you can use blockchains all around the world from anywhere in the world. And so I got to tell you, for now, the UAE is home.
Last question for you. What's your outlook for 2026 when it comes to the crypto market broadly? And I ask this in the context of the fact that there was some question around whether this crypto rally is on pause or is this the start of a larger and longer term pullback? Where do you see the market headed into 2026?
It's a good question, and I get it a lot. Are the prices going to go up or are they going to go down? I got to tell you, I think the price is the least interesting thing about what's happening here. If we build a whole new financial system on blockchains, the price of the underlying currency is ancillary. It's interesting, right? There's always going to be speculators, but what we're betting on is not the price of Sol, for example. What we're betting on is the growth of the use of blockchains. And we're seeing that happen already today. We're seeing stocks being traded, I should say tokenized stocks, being traded on blockchains. We're seeing assets of all kinds being traded on blockchains, from municipal bonds, right, muni bonds, to things as exotic as uranium futures. Look, I got to tell you, I don't think the next innovative financial product is going to be built in Wall Street. I think it's going to be built on a blockchain.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.